9.2 part 2 video. Hey, there's 3 problems left to do. They're kind of nasty problems, so I'm going to get on with it here and try to squeeze this in. Ladies and gentlemen, when in doubt, factor it out. And what's that one kind of factoring that everyone tends to forget? Greatest common factor. So this first denominator has a GCF of 3. Factor out that 3. Gives me a better idea what I have left. I'm going to cross him off so I don't accidentally use him again. Second denominator, if I'm not doing a GCF, which this guy does not have, then you know it's got to be 2 parentheses. Positive 2, negative 2 to get that negative 4. Cross this guy off so I don't accidentally use it again. So let me point something out here, and I should have done this right off the bat. The subtract problems. We did one like this in the previous video if you watched. Everything that follows that subtract is going to have its sign switched. Think about it. Subtracting more than one thing. If I subtract a negative, it becomes positive. If I subtract a positive, it becomes negative. So be aware of that. Now, let's match up some denominators here. Well, they both have y plus 2's. I don't have to mess with that. But that last one has a y minus 2, and the first one does not. Got it. Matched up. Again, the key, don't forget to do it to the top. So what's the only thing keeping these from being common? First one has a 3. Second one does not. Now it does. All right. Denominators are common. I'm not going to worry about that to the very end. Mr. McConnell will get upset with me for this, but I'm lazy. I'm going to leave it off. You already know that you're going to write this big long mess at the end of your answer. So all I'm worried about is the top. So first fraction, I got to see a little distributive property to do. So 8 times y, 8 times 2. Now, subtract. But here's why I'm writing parentheses, right? We just got done saying that you have to subtract everything that follows. So I don't doubt that everyone's going to write a 3y minus 3 for that and do the distributive property. But the question is, would you have remembered that not only were you subtracting the 3y, you were subtracting that negative 3, which would change its sign. All right, clean up the top. I got an 8y and a minus 3y, which I can combine for 5y. I got the minus 16 and the plus 3, total minus 13. There's nothing left I can do. So Mr. McConnell would argue, if you don't put that denominator each time as you rate each step, you might forget about it. And I would argue it makes it messy. I'm going to remember it at the end. So let's just hope that you guys remember. And that was the common denominator we had. So you do want to take a minute to check that top. Does that top factor some more? Can I do any more canceling? Top does not have a GCF. It does not have a y squared. There's no way I can factor it. Therefore, I must be done. 1 down, 2 to go, guys. Uh-oh. Check this out. Why on earth would I put strap yourselves in? Head-on collision coming your way. All right, so these are going to be nasty. Well, let's give them a shot. 3 fractions. Same deal. I got to do GCFs. The middle fraction has a GCF of 2. That would leave me with a 5 and a minus x. But I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to say to you, well, you know what? They almost match the middle one and the last one. The last one has an x minus 5. The middle one has a 5 minus x. And we did talk about this. If you put a negative sign in front of a set of parentheses, it would switch the signs inside. Now they match. Okay, no factoring to do on that first fraction, no factoring to do on that last fraction. It's a matter of me matching up denominators. All right, so here we go. First one has an x plus 5, but it does not have an x minus 5. I need it. The middle one has an x minus 5, so think that in terms like if we flip this around, it would say x minus 5, but it doesn't have an x plus 5. We need it. The third one has an x minus 5. It does not have an x plus 5. Got to have it. So I got all the parentheses matching now. They both have two binomials, an x minus 5 and an x plus 5. But notice the middle one has a negative 2. First one does not. Now he does. Last one does not. Now he does. So I hope you're with me as far as leaving the denominator off till the very end answer. because I don't want to keep writing down that mess over and over again. So we already know the denominator is common. Let's just save it for last. So I'm going to clean up the top. Hopefully, it would occur to you that given a -2 and a 9, I might as well multiply those together first. So -18 times the x, -18x, -18 times the 5, the -5 will be 90. Pick up a calculator for that if you need to. Now, minus. Take my advice. I'm going to write a set of parentheses. Middle fraction. Binomial and binomial. Hey, FOIL problem. Yay. So let me FOIL that out for you. So I've got first one times first one. I've got the outside 2, which would be 10x. I got the inside 2, which would be 3x. I got the last 2, which would be 15. Boy, this is a monster problem. Let's keep going. So the last fraction, -2 times 3x. I'll tell you what, it doesn't hurt to write down little bits and pieces, so I'm gonna run out of room, so I'm gonna go ahead and write that. So I at least did the -6x, and I have yet to distribute it times the x plus 5, but obviously we can do that. All right, let's keep going. So this looks nasty, but it's just a matter of combining and distributive property. Not that big a deal. So if I distribute right here with the negative sign, the signs would change. Now, how about these two? Can we go ahead and add them together? Sure. That's a 13x. Switch the sign. Switch the sign. Okay, and I saved the distribute here until now, but obviously we have to do it eventually. So this is a lot of writing. It wasn't terribly difficult. So matter of me combining like terms now. Those are both x squared. Let's add them up. -8 x squared. I see an -18x and a -13x, which would be -31x, and a -30x for -61x. So I got everything but the 90 and the -15, which makes 75. Can you combine any of those? No. So I'm done. And if I'm done, at some point we got to write that denominator. The denominator had a -2, had an x plus 5, had an x minus 5. The order is not that important, but it just kind of makes sense to put the -2 out front. All right, so it looks like a ridiculously hard answer, and I know that problem was pretty darn involved, guys, but come on, it was just a matter of some FOIL, some distributive property, and some messing with some signs. All right, I'm going to try to squeeze this last one in. So, got a factor. GCF. Got a factor. 2 sets of parentheses. So I'm going to show you another way we can fix the fact that the x minus 1 and the 1 minus x aren't quite the same thing. So what we could do is this. We could go ahead and multiply by -1, which of course means I would have to do that on top. And I'm going to write this way down here. So I have yet to mess with that first numerator, x plus 3. Here's the factored version of the denominator. Plus, okay, now I got a 1, whoa, I had a sign wrong up here. I had a 1 plus x. But if I actually take the time to distribute that guy out, it's going to flip him around. It's going to flip those signs around and be x minus 1. But why would I have done that? Do the x minus 1s now match? Yeah. Okay, but I did put a -1 up top as well. So I might as well distribute that out. All right, so close to having common denominators. So how do we get these guys to match up? Well, this guy does not have a 1 plus x. Now he does, which means this guy needs a 1 plus x. They both have x minus 1s, so the only thing keeping this guy from matching that first one is that 2. Now I got it. All right, I'm going to run out of time here, guys, so I'm just going to point this out, what to do from here. So right there, that's going to be a FOIL problem. So we would get a bunch of junk. Plus, we'll distribute it down here. We get some more junk. And what do you do with that stuff? You add them up. And that's not that hard. That's very similar to that last problem. So that little sign switching thing right here is kind of the thing to worry about. So whenever possible, you have to pull that trick. pull that trick. Thanks for watching part 2, guys.